I didn't know what I didn't know on TradeZella, but I am tracking this journey on TradeZella, the good, the bad, and the ugly, including being completely bloody, trying Ninja Trader, trying Trade Syncer, and just that learning process, if you will. Like I'm tracking all of that, and I can tell you the best consistency that I've experienced is just letting the losing day be losing at a measurable, reasonable amount versus blowing up, right? And sometimes, especially with the switching of contract stuff, that's out of my control. Like some losing days are on me. And sometimes it's not about me, it's just the software and all the things that I'm testing. I will tell you firsthand, the only way to pay out is keeping the account lots of days, and the only way to get there is to not be overdoing it. And again, I think that's the benefit back to the funding ticks thing. Try them out if you haven't already done so, because that might take away some of that greed effect that a lot of us are experiencing.
Yeah, I think you answered some of it. My question was for how do you handle drawdown in two specific ways? One, when you're in the, since the majority of us are, do trade prop firms, when you're in the challenge phase, and if you experience, drawdown over a couple of days, how do you handle that? How do you manage that as far as, your trades and psychologically as well? And then, of course, with either your, I think your live account or your personal account, if anyone has any personal account, I think those would sort of go in the same category. How would you handle that, like once you're funded?
Again, what I've experienced the best success at is, first off, I'm human. I do have my what the hell, and I go on tilt, and it typically happens when some emotional thing happens in my life, or some big tech thing happens, and I'm like, well, screw it all, right? And or subconsciously. So that notwithstanding, so when you go on tilt, I didn't even know what that word was a year ago. Let's be fair. I didn't even know what tilt was. Okay, had never heard of it. Didn't even think about it. Didn't even know what it meant. That's a whole nother thing. Is because you end up keeping trading. And usually you keep, at least me, like, let's say I took this trade, I was in profit, a couple $100. I didn't protect because I was looking to take the next level or something, right? Me not protecting this, and then it starts to go against me, and I see these wicks, I'm justifying myself to hold, which again, I should have locked and been done anyways. So all the decisions that go into this, a bad set of trades, okay, totally different because you're not managing the same, which is one of the reasons I'm a pretty big fan here lately of, I got my 10 pips, I got my 10 points, my 5 points, I got my 10, 13, 14, whatever it ended up being, and then being done and having that preset to stop loss, because at least then if I want to be stupid, I have to be stupid on purpose. Meaning, let's say again I take this trade, my stop loss is going to automatically be about 13 points away, give or take. I think it's 13.75. If I move it away, I have to do that consciously. So I know I'm risking about 55 ticks, about 13, 14 points. If I have to move it because of structure or whatever, now I know I need to be more cognizant of that trade. I know this trade is higher risk because it's more than 20 pip points or something. So I think that has helped me. Number one is having the bracket orders on Trade of 8, which is why I was willing to fail for many months to find a way to use them. Is I wanted those bracket orders, right? I wanted the bracket orders more than I wanted any single thing else. Is I wanted to have that because it keeps me accountable. Secondly, I think the biggest difference is the whole I'm up by 10 points. Typically it's about 10 to 15-ish, and then my trail will knock me out somewhere. If I just let that close, which I do 80% of the time, and then 20% of the time I'm stupid, I'm like, well, yeah, this one I think can go farther, so I'm going to try to milk it more. And on that time, I'm not being smart about it for some reason. Like, let's say this is our 8 moving average. If I don't want to use my trail that's going to knock me out, I need to be exiting when, I break below kind of that moving average, but sometimes I don't. That goes back to tilt. So for me, the biggest things I've done is bracket order number 1, trailing for the 10 points ish. Okay, my settings are 55 ticks is when it starts, so 10 points ish, I'm locked for the most part, because if I adjust either of these, I have to take ownership of that, and that's on me. Bracket that, and then if I'm only getting $200 to $500 a day on most of those accounts, then ish, okay, sometimes it's $100. It's easy because then if I'm up or down on the day, it's not a deal breaker. The thing I do from funded to transition to live to whatever that might look like is, let's say I've got 17 accounts that I'm managing. If this account is really close to passing or to pay out, I'll trade that one as the master that day, okay? And I'll be done that day by using this one first, okay? Or if this one has less drawdown room, okay, I go in and I change that to less micros. Okay, this way I don't have to monitor that, and I can still take this basket of trades, hopefully 2 to 3. Still working on that, to be honest. And that helps because then in general, this big system I'm trying to build, which I will be the first to tell you I don't have perfected just yet, it works. Because if this account has more money that I either need to make or whatever, I can know that I can manage that tightly and visually by, using those minis. Cool, I've got that and I'm done. And then I can go back in, switch the master account, and it works so seamlessly. But I know a lot of you guys, this is probably more complex than you need because y'all are using TradeZella, probably mirroring micros to micros. So if and when I was doing that, and again, I think I got the most payouts during that season, to be fair. What I did at that point was I always used the smallest account. So whatever my smallest distance to drawdown account was, that was the account I put as the master. And I used that as my risk, parameters. So figure if that account has $1,000 in trailing drawdown and the other ones are up like 3,000 and they have a buffer built, this is the max. And then if this one has now hit its target on the day based off of whatever rules that prop firm has, cool, I'm gonna stop trading that one on the day or disconnect it from group trades, and I've got the other 4 if I need one more trade on the day or what have you.